What is going on, guys? Welcome back. Commentary for you. This is a really fun video for me to make, and I hope that this video empowers you just a little bit to get yourself out of a situation I was in and look at where I am now and know that you easily, very easily, could be in the same position. So I'll put a link down in the description to Robinhood. If you're not investing, I fully recommend them. They've been a broker of mine for a very long time. But I've came out in past videos and said one of the reasons I didn't invest is because I had debt. And I understand the argument that if you're in debt, you should not be investing. And I can really appreciate anyone's stance on that. It does make sense to a degree. But I came to the realization that I may never be out of debt. And a couple months ago, I sat down and I looked at my debts and I determined how much I pay in interest. And there's some give and take, right? You know, I wanted to buy a car. I didn't have all the money up front. So in purchasing the car, I'm paying interest on that debt for the sake of not having the upfront money needed to purchase the car. There's some home repairs that needed to be done. There's some medical things that needed to be paid. And in exchange for these things, I pay interest on those debts because I didn't have the money up front. Now, it's a lot easier for me to self-justify that debt when I look at things like that. I didn't have the option of not getting a new hot water heater. I don't have the option of not having a car. So those are easier to justify than, say, the trip I didn't need to take to Las Vegas that put me in debt. But there's a toss-up there. You have to live your life too, right? So I'm okay with paying that interest. What is making it so much easier to pay that interest is looking at something like this. And again, as a dividend investor, I'm not here for this. I'm not here for growth. I'm here for dividend returns. And now some of that is going to be coming in the form of growth. As those dividends pay, my account will be growing. But stock values have increased a lot too. I've been very good and careful about what I'm buying and when I'm buying. And for the most part, many of my stocks have increased in value while paying me dividends. And what I'm able to look at now is a position where the last month, I can sit here and honestly say what I spent in interest for my debts was less than the appreciation of the value of my portfolio. Now, to some people, I could run out and get myself in more debt and say, well, it's okay. I mean, I have room here, but it's good to know that I'm in this position. It's empowering to know that I'm in the position. I feel a lot safer in this position. Now, all those things being said, I understand. I'm also waiting for the day the balloon bursts, right? You cannot increase your wealth 4% every single month. I suppose you could, but it's an unrealistic expectation to keep, and that's why it's so important to keep this perspective. When I lose 10, 15, 20% of my investment, I need to remember these months where I gained 3, 4, 5% in a month and know, hey, even though I lost investment, I really didn't lose what I had invested. I lost the appreciation of my investments. And I'm going to be able to buy back into stocks at a lower point than I expected and see these same gains follow me through the next handful of years. And then I'll wait for another correction and I'll repeat the process. The only way that's possible, though, is buying into companies you know, companies you trust, and companies you understand. But for all the months and years of my life that I wasn't personally investing, it's so refreshing to see one of my biggest fears, the interest I paid on my debt, essentially canceling itself out by the appreciation of my investments. And I hope that you guys learn from that, and I hope that you all get into a position like this. If unfortunately you are in debt and you are paying interest, that you can use that as motivation to say, hey, maybe I'm paying credit card XYZ a specific amount of interest a month, but all the companies that I own within my portfolio are increasing my wealth by a greater margin. Love to know your thoughts on this. Appreciate you checking it out. I will be back in the week with more commentary.